Huh, who would have expected this? 2 straight days of videos relating to Mike Matheson of the Montreal Canadiens. Now, in yesterday's video commentary talking about the Montreal Canadiens and the Canucks, we spoke about Mike Matheson as next in line for Kent Hughes and his team when it comes to negotiating contracts. This, of course, is the situation here. Matheson is a 31-year-old defenseman who's only making $4.875 million a year till the end of this season right now. Now, the interesting thing about this contract is that it was an 8-year deal given to him all the way back in 2018-19. So it's been quite a while that Matheson has been paid this amount of money, and at 31 years old, you can definitely see that he'll probably be in for a raise. Probably. Now, he's not going to sign long-term, I wouldn't think. He's 31. This guy's not going to get a 7-year deal, most likely. But based off of what he does for the Montreal Canadiens as a one-time 60-point defenseman, last year he had only scored 31 points because his top power play spot was taken. But as a guy who currently is on pace for another 62-point campaign, Matheson brings a lot to the Montreal Canadiens, especially when you look at the deployment. He is a workhorse that just gets so much ice time, and alongside of Noah Dobson, he's been really good. But in this video, we're not talking about Mike Matheson and his contract extension to be. Oh no, we are talking about another contract that the Montreal Canadiens might be able to acquire with the help of Mr. Mike Matheson, number 8 over here. And to help us out, we're going over onto an article posted on tvasports.ca, which will be linked in the description. Now, you are looking so eloquently at the JIC show, where they went out there and had their little segment, but of course, this is just a part of the conversation. Let's read this piece published earlier yesterday on TVA Sports about how Mike Matheson could be convincing Sidney Crosby to come play in Montreal. Oh boy. This is opening up that can of worms that Habs fans will not let die. The Montreal Canadiens are certainly heading in the right direction, but they're still missing 1 or 2 pieces to become a true Stanley Cup contender. Many have suggested Pittsburgh Penguins star Sidney Crosby as a player who could help the Habs, and defenseman Mike Matheson could be a valuable asset in convincing him to come to the city. The article says here, TVA sports journalist Renaud Lavoie didn't hesitate to highlight the excellent rapport between the two players. As a reminder, Matheson and Crosby were teammates with the Penguins. "We eat together, we text each other, we talk on the phone. They're great friends," he said in the Daily JIC on Wednesday. And according to him, Crosby's arrival with the Canadiens is not to be excluded. Quite the contrary. "It's definitely going to happen," Lavoie continued. "We just need Sidney to say yes." Now, I think there might be some lost in translation errors over here with the article. On mange ensemble, on se texte, on se parle au téléphone. I don't really know if the article is saying that in particular, we do this. I mean, it's more so them, right? Renaud Lavoie's not saying that he goes out there and texts and eats dinner with Crosby and Matheson. He's saying that they do that. Right? They're great friends, he said on the JIC show. And so, with this, obviously, Mike Matheson, being the good old buddy that he is to the Montreal Canadiens, there's absolutely no way he would have gone this entire summer, an entire text conversation, an entire dinner with Sid, without even alluding to the idea that, hey, you can play in Montreal, and you will be revered here. You will be a god amongst human beings in this city. And obviously Crosby knows that. So Renaud Lavoie saying, yeah, it's definitely going to go down that way. He's definitely going to try to make it happen. We just need Sidney to say yeah. Crosby has 2 years remaining on his current contract. The Penguins appear to be heading towards a rebuild, and at 38 years old, number 87 would certainly like one last chance at winning a 4th career title. For Crosby, it's easier for us to discuss this issue than for him to make the decision, Lavoie said. Crosby is someone who loves his routine. If you move, you no longer have that same routine. But if anyone can help him with that, it's Mike Matheson. Now, who would have thunk it, right? Like, imagine saying this 2 or 3 years ago, that Mike Matheson, out of all the people in the NHL, would potentially be the biggest helping factor for Montreal to acquire Sid the Kid Crosby. Now, just in case you wanted the scoop as to how things are going this year for Crosby and the Pens, guess what? They've actually been doing pretty all right. Now, they're 2-2 on the season. That's not great in particular, but Sid the Kid's got 4 points in 4 games. That's all you really want out of this guy. And the crazy part is, he isn't even the number 1 guy on his team in points this year. That honor belongs to Evgeny Malkin, who's exploded out of the gate with 6 assists in 4 games to open up the year. Now, obviously, that's made a lot better for Malkin when you realize that Justin Brazeau is on his line. He's got 4 goals in 4 games so far and has been shot out of a cannon. Like, Justin Brazeau, out of everybody, is one of the top goal scorers in the National Hockey League this season. Who would have ever expected that? Big guy, $1.5 million a year, and he was playing in the ECHL as far back as 3 years ago, before becoming an AHL regular and an inevitable Boston Bruin. 20 points in 57 games, like, okay, he's fine. But now he's on pace for 82 goals in 82 games played. Now, he's not going to do that, of course, but he is still one of the top goal scorers in the National Hockey League. He's tied for 3rd with McKinnon, Kaprizov, Boldy, Kreider, Neighbors, Marchenko, and Jack Eichel. So, pretty big list of guys, and a good list to be compared to in this early stage of the NHL season. But of course, this is all off on a tangent. Brazeau is playing with Malkin, so Malkin's been getting all those assists. Crosby, though, still a point-per-game guy. So, good for him. Obviously, the Pittsburgh Penguins, not necessarily off to the best start wins and losses-wise, but when it comes to some of these guys producing points, obviously, I'd say they're doing pretty okay. Sidney Crosby, though, potentially taking his talents over to the Montreal Canadiens. Obviously, we hope that Mike Matheson can be a part of that happening. Matheson also is from Quebec, so not necessarily from the same part of town where Sidney Crosby is from, of course, Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, but Crosby was a Habs fan growing up, and his dad was drafted by the Canadiens, so there has to have been some sort of a nice connection there. Matheson, though, this is your chance, buddy. Prove yourself as somebody the Montreal Canadiens cannot live without, and convince Sid the Kid to come over to the Habs. If it's not Sid, maybe the Canadiens can go out there and try to get Evgeny Malkin. He's over a point per game this season. He's playing pretty well. His contract is expiring soon, too, so maybe there's an opportunity for him if he ends up waiving or deciding that he's okay to get moved. But I digress. Mike Matheson, either way, was a former Penguin, and the 2 years he spent in Pittsburgh weren't really too spectacular, but if they were able to have some sort of an impact, like getting into Sidney Crosby's crew, then, hey, this could be a really big chance for Matheson to prove himself to the Habs and their fans, right? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this idea that Matheson could convince Crosby to come to Montreal? We're going to leave a link in the description of the article if you want to go out there and read it yourself. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you did not, then the dislike button's down there for you as well. Comments help out with the algorithm, so I'd appreciate it if you got involved there. And let me know your thoughts as to how Mike Matheson could potentially get involved in this Crosby ordeal. Do you think it's possible? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.